Hi everyone, this is Rachel from Cybersports Network, and I am so fortunate to be joined by my co-host from WCS in Europe. In Sweden, we rock the stage together, but you have been, we did rock, but you've been rocking stages for years now, and you made a nice historical post on Team Liquid telling us all about yourself, but you tell it so much finer in your own words. So you want to give me a brief summary of how you came into this fine world of esports?
A brief summary, because otherwise it'd be like really boring in about 45 hours of... I don't even know if you have a DV tape that lasts that long. I know. By mistake, like a lot of shoutcasters, 2001, 2002, guy from Clanbase said, "You're English, you play some games, do you want to do some shoutcasting?" And I went, yeah, all right. What is it? Don't even know how to set up a Winamp thing. Went from the radio stuff of being really unprofessional and getting drunk on air, and had the very great fortune of bumping into DJ Wheat and him recruiting me to ITG and then taking me under his wing, I guess, and teaching me the ways and means of great shoutcasters, and then yeah, got more gigs from there.
Yeah, it's been an adventure. You started out, well, when I first saw you was on Championship Gaming Series, but what did you do leading up to that?
2005-06, I think we were pretty much events all over the world. WCGs, ESWC, QuakeCon, multiplayer events, stuff all over Europe, just a bit and pieces of everything, really. And then, yeah, got a break with CGS in 2007, and did a couple of years with them before they went and sort of fell over and died.
Well, Championship Gaming Series is something that has become relevant all over again, because when people see what League of Legends is doing, when they move all these gamers in, they salary them, they think it's the first time this has ever happened. But really, CGS was the first one to do that, and you were involved with CGS from the start. So can you give us like a brief roundup of what CGS was? Yeah,
I mean, I think MLG might have been first, actually, with salaries, but in terms of organised leagues and actually bringing gamers on, and they effectively decided to own the teams and have franchises, so much more like the NFL, rather than sort of football, or soccer, depending on where you're viewing this from, and then pay the players salaries, decent salaries, $30,000 a year, players of 10 across each team, and then each team was made up of different games. So the sport, if you like, wasn't DOA or FIFA or Counter-Strike. The sport was the scoreboard, which actually I quite liked. I mean, it's a bit of a unique thing, but it was basically the team that scored the most points across all 4 games would then win that match, and that was quite cool.
That was quite cool. And you had let's see, there was Dead or Alive, there was Counter-Strike, we had all these guys, and so many of the people that I met on WCG Ultimate Gamer, that I've met throughout esports, really got their start there. There's Swoozy, he's like a famous YouTuber now, got his start there. Yeah. It's so weird catching up with you. I can't believe this is the first time that we've really sat down and met, because we have so many mutual friends.
Yeah, we do. I think we probably share about 150 friends or something on Facebook, and yet we've never actually, I think I met you at Gamescom, but we've never worked together, and we've never done an event together. So yeah, it's pretty weird, isn't it?
It is. I want to know what are your stories of these people? I know you've had some really exciting stories that you've related to me over the weekend. You've met Heaton in StarCraft, and you trashed him in a warm-up match. Apparently, that's unforgettable. I've heard stories about Yaz, about Kat. Who is your favorite gamer in CGS?
Do you know what? I and this is sound really corny, but I genuinely loved them all. It was such a camaraderie in that village. We literally had a players' village, because we were in an apartment block together, and there was just so many good times. There really were, and I savoured every moment of that. And I still speak to Jason Lake every now and again. We sort of go, "Hey, do you remember when we were hanging out by the pool and we had those cool barbecues?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, they were amazing. We had so much fun." And we still look back. You know, a lot of people outside the CGS kind of liked the fact that it died, and there were some very bitter people, and there were some people that were right, actually, that it would have failed. But the people inside the CGS really miss it. I mean, I saw Sturmy the other weekend. I hadn't seen him in ages, and he instantly said, "You know what? It's really sad. We miss the CGS." So for the people involved in it, it's still a wonderful thing that we experienced as a collection of people. But favourites? Oh, I don't know. Christ, there were so many. The DOA guys were great. I'm still friends with Master. I still speak to him occasionally online. Swoozy was amazing. You got Cat Gunn and all the ladies like Vanessa teaching me DOA, by the way, which was amazing, teaching me about frames and books and stuff that I had no idea about when I first joined. And even the FIFA guys, you know, really cool. You had some amazing players playing FIFA as well. And then the Counter-Strike, which is why I kind of got into it, really, because I wanted the Counter-Strike stuff. So yeah, we practiced a bit in the practice rooms, and then one afternoon Heaton Heaton was playing, I think, with Stockholm, and the San Francisco Optics guys, basically War Machine got up, and Clown was like, yeah, ReDeYe, sit down with us, sit down with us. So I sit down, I'm killing this guy, and I'm thinking nothing of it, and then I hear some raging from the other room, and it turns out it's Heaton, and so I'm like, yeah. So I've like, for maybe 2 rounds, I killed him, and that's my claim to fame.
Well, you got to experience what was kind of like the first golden age of esports, and then you took a bit of a hiatus, and now you're back in a second golden age. So how has esports progressed, and what is ultimately the same?
Almost nothing's the same. It's changed completely in the last 2 years. It's really hard to put into words how different it is. I suppose actually that's not entirely fair to some of the older competitions, because you had the CPL World Tour, that was 2005, WCG in Singapore in 2005 was until last weekend was my favourite event I'd ever done. So we had some great tournaments, but they were few and far between. Now I think it's more about proliferation. You have so many tournaments now, so many fantastic tournaments all over the world, and it's just got so much bigger thanks to people like Twitch and Owned, and streaming's now so much easier. I mean, I remember turning up to ESWC in 2005 with Wheat, and I think there was like 3 of it, maybe him, Wheat, me, and Tosspart, and maybe one other guy. I can't even remember, it's so long ago. And we had one engineer doing the entire show, and he shipped most of it over in his suitcase. And that was our broadcast equipment, and we streamed live on video. I have no idea how the hell they did that back then. And we've come a long way from that, with giant stages and penis-shaped stages, and that's one for the Reddit guys. And massive productions and teams of people doing cameras, 9 cameras at the WCS last weekend alone, and jibs and booms and you name it. We've got it, and it's amazing to see it, but it's also fantastic.
Yeah, you were part of, I guess, CJS was one of the biggest productions in esports. You've been to WCG, again, huge productions, and now it's bigger than ever. So, I'm not sure where you've been in the past couple of years, but I mean, are you back? Are you in love with esports again? Because it seems like there's a fire that's been reignited here.
I've never been out of love of esports. I've always loved it. I've always been a bit nerdy, so it's always been the thing I found most comfortable around, coming to tournaments, hanging out with people like yourself, and and I've totally fanboyed Wheat for the last 10 years. He's probably sick to death of me already, but I'm a nerdy gamer just like everyone else. I just have a lucky break that I can talk about it on air, and that's how I see it. I don't see anything else than that. But I went away for a couple of years. I've still kept my hand in. I've still followed everything that's been going on, so I'm not completely out of the loop, but had some personal stuff with splitting up with my ex and my daughter coming to live with me for a while, made things a bit more challenging to do esports, and obviously my children come first, so that's what I did. And now things have changed again. They changed last year, and that's given me the last 12 months to sort of come back into it and slowly get into it. And I think it's like anything. It's like in 2005 when we did an event, we would inevitably have someone come up to us and say, hey, you guys are great, you should come and do our event. And then that would lead to another event, and then you got to do that, and it snowballs. And that's what's happened to me this year. I did WCG Korea 2011, just at the end of last year. And ESL guys then contacted me and said, we forgot you kind of out of it, and we haven't seen you for a while. We'd like you to come and do some IEM stuff with us. So I did Kiev with them in January, and then had an AMD gig given to me for February, and then suddenly I'm at IEM World Championship in March, and then Gadget Show Live in the UK in April, and just before I knew it, I've done like 17 events, and that's more than I've done in the last 3 years or something. So yeah, it's fantastic.
It seems like the industry is very glad to have you back. You've been involved in StarCraft, a lot of different games here, but it seems like the FPS genre is really where you found your home. So are you excited for CSGO? Is that what you're going to be participating in mostly, or are you just going to try and do all the games?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to be commentating on StarCraft. There's just too many great casters already, and I'm about 10 years behind them, so we'll leave them to do their job because they do it fantastically. I love hosting the events. I mean, it's great to sit in the front row and watch the games on the big screen and it's almost like it's my giant screen in my front room with 2 hand-picked commentators just for me. It's fantastic when you get that. In terms of CSGO, I don't know. I mean, I want to commentate on it, but the first thing we need is some decent broadband in the UK. So if you're suffering from bad broadband, trust me, I know how that feels. We've just got terrible infrastructure right now. It's getting better, but as soon as I get the bandwidth to do that, then yeah, I'll be streaming on Twitch with some Counter-Strike Go, and hopefully making it to a few events as well.
Well, like you said, it's one event that leads to another. Where are we going to find you next?
That's a good question. I don't actually know. I've got a couple of gigs that are sort of up in the air. Maybe one in Vegas in November, which we're still talking about. I don't know if it's going to come off, so I won't say any more than that. But maybe at the end of November as well, with either WCG or with a multiplayer event. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, not going anywhere yet, and not taking a long break like last time.
Well, one of the things that you were remarking on was, back in the day when you were casting, you would have a few fans that would come up to you and ask for autographs, or a couple guys that would take pictures. And now, all of a sudden, you have, people had signs for ReDeYe in the crowd at WCS. Like, there's the fan club on TL. What's going on now with your fan club? And is there anything you want to say to all these guys who are, experiencing you for the first time, or maybe who are so happy to see you come back?
Yeah, it's pretty weird, isn't it?
A little bit.
It's pretty freaky. It's freaky, if only because I get it for the gamers, I get it for the players, I get it for the commentators like Tasteoses. Yeah, I understand it, but for the host, you guys are crazy. You really are crazy. But I like it as well. It's quite nice. Of course, it's nice to hear nice things and get some thanks for the fans and what have you. But I just do this because I enjoy doing it. So if they enjoy it as well, then that's job done. That's my job done. But yeah, thanks for the guys on Team Liquid for the fan club and. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I sort of feel like I've arrived. After 10 years in esports, I now have a fan club on Team Liquid, so that's it now. I could retire, happy man.
Well, I think one of the reasons people are so happy to see you is, you see people my age all the time who are just like, oh yeah, we love video games. Most people are this like 16 to 24, but to see people like you and we who embrace that and who can take it seriously as an adult, it means a lot more to us to know that you would put your weight behind it. So, what is your projection for esports? Do you think this is going to keep going? Do you think this is a safe place to hedge your bets?
That's a good question too, because I've got a couple of offers to come back full time, and I need to think about them and talk to my family and weigh things up and see where it takes me. But I'm at an age where it's different to a lot of the young guys because they can take some risks right now in their 20s, and you can take risks, and if it doesn't work out in a year, you can go and find something else to do. It's fine. I'm 40, so. It's time to make a career or not make a career. And if I make a mistake now, that could hurt me for the rest of my life. So it's a much bigger decision, I think, for me right now, as it is for D-Man, for instance, as well. Same sort of position that we've both found ourselves in again. And I've been in this position before, 2006. Spent the first 2 years with Mr. Tosspot and Mr. Wheat travelling the world on our own dime and pretty much not paying any of the bills. And then you have to make a decision. Is this thing going to take off, or do I need to go and find what we call a real job in real life TM? And that's what I had to do back then. And I'm not scared of doing it again if I have to, but taking the risk now is quite hard. So I don't know which way it's going to go. But in terms of esports, I think it'll ebb and flow. I think we're having a peak again, which is fantastic. But who's to say in a year or two's time we might have another trough, and I think we have to expect that. Generally the trajectory is good and we're definitely going in the right direction, but I don't think you can ever say this is just on the up and up. It's going to go up and down.
Well, you've got a crowd of fans at your heels now. Where are we going to follow you and hopefully follow you into a bright future? Well, in terms of Twitter, I'm spamming the hell out of Twitter, so it's probably the best place if you want to chat with me. Other than that, there's Facebook, there's Team Liquid. I'm on all the forums, really. And yeah, I do troll Reddit occasionally as well. All right, well, thank you so much, Paul. It's been incredible working with you. I've been a bit of a fangirl about this whole experience, so I'm so glad we're friends now. But I really look forward to seeing you at more events, and I hope it all works out. I hope you stick around.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.